There are loads of awesome things about being a mum, of course, but there's also been quite a lot of things that I found really hard and that have surprised me in how hard they are. So this week's Naptime Knowledge is some things I find hard about motherhood. The first is going back, way back to the beginning, and a few days after you've given birth, maybe a week or 2 weeks, being asked when the baby's due. I remember the first day I ventured outside without Indy, and I bumped into a friend of my husband's, and I was wearing a kind of tight top, I guess, but she asked when the baby was due, and obviously I said she's been born, and then I burst into tears and ran away. Smooth. Another thing I find hard about motherhood is how much more I cry. I mean, I was an emotional person before I had a baby, but now, God, I just cry all the time, from anything, making a decision about peanut butter in the supermarket and being completely unable to watch the news without crying. I mean, I kind of feel like Xavier in the X-Men. You know, he feels everything, and I feel like that, except my superpower isn't saving the world, it's sobbing. Another thing I find quite hard about motherhood is how much sleep I get. Kidding! No, I literally don't sleep at all. Oh yes, and the guilt. The mum guilt. That weighs as heavy as my 2-stone toddler, and I carry her around a lot. So carrying everything around, the guilt, the toddler, it weighs heavy on you, you know? But like, feeling guilty all the time could be a good thing. Like, you know, when you're a teenager, you sort of feel guilty all the time and you're about to nip behind the bike sheds for a snog, except it doesn't. Another thing that I find surprisingly hard is that motherhood is really scary. Like, take the worst horror movie you've ever seen. Like, for me, that's probably it. I mean, those clowns, man. Ah. Anyway, motherhood's a bit like living in one. I honestly feel like there's danger lurking around every corner, and possibly a clown. Another thing I find quite hard about motherhood is questioning who I am and what I'm doing all the time, because I basically have no idea. Possibly because of the sleep deprivation. Who am I?
Mama?
I know there are going to be loads of other things that I struggle with as I go through motherhood. Those are just a wee snapshot of some of them. I mean, at some point I'm going to have to talk to my daughter about contraception. Anyway, there'll also be loads more wonderful things, I know, and awesome things that we'll share together. And whenever I am feeling a bit blue about things, I just look at her face. I mean, she's just the cutest.
Yay!
That's a mum word.